I'm going to give you a few of my thoughts that are going through my feeble mind. Uh, First of all, this is a period of time right after Trump has issued a second executive order to close off immigration from 7 countries so that we can vet the immigrants a little bit more and specifically not allow those that really aren't immigrants, that are fleeing because of whatever reason that they flee. Those people are not immigrants. They're refugees. And the difference between a refugee and an immigrant is choosing to come here because they want the life that America has. And they left a place that was well organized, perhaps, or they had a home there, and they would just like to be in an area that has a republic, a real republic, which we're not really much anymore. That can be an entire video in and of itself. The immigrants, however, are people who come legally. Refugees are let in or they come in illegally. People harp and moan and bellyache because we're mean to the refugees. And you know what? We should be making their home country better. That's where they'd rather be, isn't it? Wouldn't you rather stay home and know that you're safe than go somewhere where you may not feel welcome? I know I would. So why can't we use the money, instead of paying social services and all of the freebies that are given out at my expense and yours, if you understand that, to support people who would rather be somewhere else? Now, I haven't talked about that group of people who are here to do damage. People like George Soros. George Soros is a blood traitor. That man sold Jews to the Nazis to survive, so they wouldn't take him to a concentration camp and use him for a medical experiment, take out his eyes or his ears or whatever, just to see how they tick. He sold his own people. There's nothing lower than that. He, very bright, became a billionaire. Now he's using his money to try to subvert the United States government. He pays and busses terrorists like the Black Lives Matter. Black lives do matter. I have a foster son who's black. He's now married, doing pretty good. He has slight damage because he was badly beaten as a child. A mother who would drop him off at a street corner and say, "Take the bus, don't care where you go, don't care if you ever come back." And he thinks she's a great mom. Dad left him when he was young. Thinks he's a great dad because his dad will talk to him now. It's a warped way of life. Never understanding that good parents don't do things like his. Good parents don't end up in jail doing drugs. Good parents don't get arrested for DUIs all the time. Good parents never get arrested for DUI. Good parents choose their children, love their children, cherish their children. But I'm off on a little bit of a tangent, even though it's an absolute essential tangent. George Soros should be tried for treason, executed, and we be rid of him. The same goes for anybody who tries to subvert the Constitution, which would include the Clintons and people like, what's his name, Beached Whale Moore, who made a movie and got rave reviews from other fools like himself. I never watch the Academy Awards or any of those kinds of things because it's just idiots voting for idiots. And Meryl Streep in her little diatribe after President Trump won proved to me that they're morons. I have no need for them, no use for them. They have absolutely no value to the country. They add nothing. There was a time when they did, Hollywood as a whole, I mean. During World War II, they voluntarily made movies. And by voluntarily, yes, they were asked to do it, but they agreed. Said, sure. But they made movies that backed our troops. Now, they make movies to make our troops look bad. They also make movies to make dads look bad and unnecessary. They're fools. They're worthless. I love my babies as much as my wife. My babies love me as much as they do their mother. My grandchildren, I carry them outside and I talk to them, I teach them. They come to me instead of their own parents. Everyone but 3. And I've got 13 with 2 more on the way, and I'll train the other 2 up the same way. But I make sure that they love me for teaching them and for helping them and for just pure love. Because I don't buy their love. I don't give them candy and treats. I don't fault those that do. And I might start because that's fun too. Then I get treats. And I don't get a lot of treats. My wife, who is a brilliant nutritionist, is teaching me the correct way to eat, which is not the government's disgusting, evil method of teaching people how to get fat. And if you're smart and you pay attention and you read and you start understanding this upside-down pyramid, you'll recognize that grains are evil. They're bad. They have been hybridized and GMO'd so that there's chemical strains in them that replicate narcotics so that you are addicted to those things that will make you fat. I should know. I absolutely love those things that make me fat. Sugar is addictive. Bread is a sugar. It turns into sugar in your body the same as table sugar. And anyway, this is a ranting and raving video, and I meant it to be that when I started. I have opinions. My opinions are valid, and they're based on study. They're based on the truth. For example, Thomas Jefferson. Glenn Beck's The Blaze channel does an ad about Thomas Jefferson, calling him baby daddy or some stupid thing. Research has shown that the person that knocked up the slave was Thomas Jefferson's uncle, not Thomas Jefferson. And yet the liberals wanted to make Thomas Jefferson look bad. They've done all they can to make all of our founding fathers look bad. And they've had to lie to do it. If you read the writings of these men, and you read them with an open mind and an understanding heart, and you are able to recognize the truth that's in them, and the faults, if there's some, and there is, you learn to prayerfully consider the things they write, you'll understand that the founding fathers were good men. They had disagreements, but they were good men, and they did the right thing, and they did what God wanted them to do. And I have a specific belief in why they did that, and sometime I might share that, but not this time. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed this little offshoot of my mind. It's perhaps not something that I will do a lot of, but then again I might. Depends on how it's received. Thank you, and appreciate you taking some of your time, which is probably more valuable than mine.